All right. Hello, sir. Hello, Steve. Good to see you.
Come on, Novak.
Is this mine? Is this?
Come on, Novak.
I think this is probably the most, I mean, we were just talking earlier, this is probably the longest distance you've probably had to run.
Yes.
Because we were just saying, I asked Jeremy, I said, Jeremy, does he sweat? She always looks so cool and calm. He said, well, he only goes from one 3-point to the other 3-point.
Okay.
Exactly.
You know, I heard a few things Jeremy was saying, and I'd like to correct one thing he said. He mentioned that Landry Fields was the only person you really knew at first, and then he touched on how Tyson kind of talked about.
I could have sworn I knew him in the summer.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I knew him in the summer.
And me and Jeremy actually played one game together in the D League last season.
And we went to PF Chang's afterwards. I do take that back. I knew.
I just wanted to.
I knew Novak. And what I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When I mean Tyson and Jared, gave me a lot of advice, I actually meant Shump Novak.
But I did kind of pin him down. He had to prioritize, to some degree.
Yeah, we had to clear that up.
Yeah, we had to clear that up.
I gotta start with you though, Mr. Shumpert, because we haven't seen this kind of. I mean, where is this defensive intensity? It almost seems like you've become almost this defensive rock, and just you just shut people down, or is that just Clyde and those guys just hyping us up on your defense, or do you love the defensive side of the game?
I don't know if it's that I love the defensive side of the game as much as I hate when people score. Like certain people, I don't know. It's like when I was growing up, it was just like I had my brothers always beating up on me, and like we go to the park, and if I was finally on their team, like if I would do anything to knock my brothers down, if you on the other team and I don't even know you, like there's no telling what I'd do to keep you from scoring. Like I just hate when people score, and then. Like, sometimes it's just guys that I just feel like shouldn't be scoring.
Now, are there anybody?
Like they'll have, like, really, really good games, and I see their stats and everything, and I'll be like, I just don't feel like he should be scoring. I feel like if I take the approach that I don't respect him as a scorer, then they won't score. But if you give them that respect and give them that extra step back and you just sort of play your distance, try to play it all calm and not get crossed over, you're going to end up losing that battle, especially in this league.
Is there anybody in particular that you don't like to see score?
Just gonna leave it alone.
I can vouch for that for him.
What?
Because I've heard him several times say on the bench, I just don't like him. Right? He says that. Maybe honestly 3 or 4 times.
No, seriously, I do.
I think that's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, that might be that's the censored version, but it's just like why don't you I just don't.
Sometimes certain guys, it's like, I don't like him. I don't like his, and not like him, like as a person or, you know what I mean? Just like they'll score and I hate their whole swagger when they're scoring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just don't like it. So
I'm beginning to understand.
Anything I can do to get in your skin.
I think it's a very New York thing, though. That reminds me back in the 90s, that kind of swagger where I think basically the entire Knick team didn't want anybody else to score. I
mean, it's not the same now. We get fined for fouls.
Yeah.
Kicked out of games for fouls and technicals.
Yeah, Novak takes a different approach. He lets a guy score. If he gets one down on the other end.
Scores all down.
Him and Dunleavy had a little deal going into the game. They're like, you get a 3, I get a 3. You get a 3, I get a 3.
But then Dunleavy goes in, he lays it up, and you shoot a 3, so you end up winning. You come out.
What's
on top,
up with
right?
I want to talk about that. What's up with the discount double check or
triple check?
How's that work?
It's a triple check.
It's a triple check?
It's
Not a double check.
He's the triple check.
It's a triple check. Yeah. Is there some motivation behind that, or how'd you come up with that?
I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and
Yes.
I grew up a cheesehead.
Bears.
Although he was the one eating cheese backstage, just for the record, he was. But I grew up a huge Packer fan, and I'm sure many people have seen Aaron Rodgers when he throws a touchdown, he does the title belt. And so one game I just brought it out. One of our security guards was asking me to do it, and I told him I didn't want to do it, and he kept begging me on to do it, and then one game I just brought it out, and it's caught on, I guess.
Smart. I like it. Can you give me a little demonstration?
No. It has to.
The 3, he got to hit a 3 first. He got to hit a 3 first.
It's got to be.
The key is a facial expression. He goes like this.
Yeah. Look, then he point to people that didn't even pass it to me. I didn't pass it to you. What you pointing at me for? I didn't do nothing, no man.
See, they feel like they have to be a part of my celebration, clearly. They get to critique it. They get to decide how my face should look. But all along, I thought it was my from Wisconsin. But apparently not. They get to.
Go Bears.
Okay, Bears fan. It's tough.
Mr. Shumper, are you a sneak? I mean, I've heard rumors, if it's not true. I mean, are you a little bit of a sneaker collector?
Yeah. I got a problem. I got a little bit of a
My
problem.
kind of guy when it comes to collecting. What are some of your favorites, and what are you traditionally collecting? How many pairs do you have? I
don't know. See, my whole life I was like, I get any type of exclusive shoes that I really like, and then it's like, well, now I'm with Adidas, so I'm really limited to what I can wear now. You know what I mean?
That's a problem.
I can't really talk about it too much.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what.
Well, let's limit it to like, how many pairs of sneakers do you have in your collection? You in the hundreds?
Yeah.
I don't
You
think
got
you
your
should
own
be telling
room.
kids this.
Yeah.
He has two
Don't
pairs.
be like me, man. I used to do crazy stuff. Like shoes would come out, I get 3 pair of the same shoe. Just like one pair I play ball in, the other pair would be like, you know, if I really wanted to go out and hang out, ended up getting them dirty, and then that one minty pair that I would just wear, you know, when I had to look real good.
Sure.
You know, let's talk about your defense for a second. Let's change the subject. Is there somebody in the NBA that maybe you can guard? Is there anybody you kind of look forward to guarding? Or
You
maybe,
said that I can't guard?
Yeah, do you feel like maybe...
I don't feel like it's anybody I can't guard. I'd say the hardest matchup was either Paul Pierce or Dirk. Like I don't think I was mentally prepared enough to guard Dirk. I think I need another go round at him. He early on they got me with the 2 rookie calls fast, so I was on the bench. But we ended up beating him though. Thank God, Jeremy.
You looking forward to
his
getting
high
back
streak.
on that?
Huh?
You looking forward to getting back on that? Being able to go? Do you look forward to getting back and maybe playing against the?
Yeah. I would love to just to see if I could really, because he's so tall. You know what I mean? Not really fast. Puts the ball in your face a lot. I feel like I can make life miserable for him.
I like that. Steve, you're probably more experienced. You're one of the more experienced players on the stage.
Yes.
What advice? I mean, you've been around now a little bit. I don't hold the Marquette experience. You know, we like that program. Good program.
Mm-hmm.
First, I guess, what advice do you give to these 2 young players? Mm-hmm. And then second thing is, what was it like to play? You know, played in college with D Wade, didn't you?
Yes.
Was he as good as you thought, or
Yeah.
back then?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't know. It was. I'll maybe compare it a little bit to kind of like Jeremy. It's a little different in many ways, but I think when D Wade came out of college, we knew he was good, but we didn't know he was that good. Obviously, he had so much success so early, and they won a championship, and he's obviously gone on to be, one of the top 3 players in the NBA. And the reason I say like Jeremy, it's like he was on the team, and everybody said. I've actually been asked a lot of times, when you play with Jeremy in the D League, did you see the future? Did you know you guys were going to be playing together? Did you see the greatness in him? I didn't want to say, nah, he really wasn't that good. But I think, in talking with Jeremy, he surprised himself. What he's done has been, remarkable. We knew Jeremy was a good player, but what he's been able to.
Did you know he was a
do.
good player? I mean, how? In practice, you knew?
I think the NBA it's full of so many good players that, when Jeremy would have a great practice and, he's out there, and since Barron's not here, we can say this, he would be having a better practice than Barron or be having a better practice than somebody. It was like, he's in the NBA, he's a very good player. And, once when Sandy caught on, it was. Yeah,
that's what it was. It was his whole swagger changed. He started wearing the little calf sleeves. You know what I mean? They got the handshake going. His haircut changed. If you see Jerry when he subbed in against the Nets,
yes,
and then see how he walks against Dallas. You know what I'm saying? It's totally no. Seriously though. Seriously. Seriously, I think
he's
shot
still
people.
the one who's going to be passing you the ball.
Oh yeah, he knows this. But I'm
in
saying
two years,
it's a great
I'll have a headband, a couple arm sleeves,
elbow pad.
maybe even a tattoo.
No, but it's I'm teasing about the calf sleeves and everything, but I'm serious about the whole swagger of it. I think it's. I don't think that it was when I played against him in the summer. I was like, he can go, like he can hoop. You know, at first we were just like, who is this guy? You know, we was in the summer league, but then you sort of defended him. You try and get in him a little bit. He wasn't afraid of the contact. He'd go in there with anybody and try and finish. So I was like, all right, he could play. Like, and then when he came here, and then he finally got in against the Nets. You know, he was playing good, but you could tell he was still a little, you know, in his shell. Then when he got to screaming and bopping his head and sticking his tongue out, I'm like, all right, Jerry, there you go. You know what I mean? There you go. I'm all about the swagger. I'm all about that. You know, that makes me play better. Like when people doing that and crowds get into it, Novak's doing the belt, Amari's flexing in the crowd. Like that gets me amped up. You know,
I don't need to give him much advice. He seems to. We have to actually bring him real.
Yeah.
A little bit.
They got to calm me down. I'm the amped up dude on the bench.
Are you?
Yeah. I listen to slow music before the game so I can calm down. Seriously. You do it too. That's why he's chilling.
No, but I was going to say, to be honest, the way that Jeremy has handled himself, I think, you know, this year has been pretty remarkable. I think, you know, with the media frenzy that's kind of taken place and the success that he's had and the leadership role he kind of had to take from, you know, only his second year, I think speaks volumes about the kind of player Jeremy is. And people were always asking, you know, when is Linsanity going to end? When is Jeremy Lin going to fade away? And I'm looking at these people like, are you watching the same game that we're watching? You know, it was like Jeremy would come out and it wouldn't be the first quarter he had 20 points or he wasn't hitting half-court shots. It was him playing a consistent game, being a leader, and I think that's what's been the best part about it. That seeing that, you know, it's not going anywhere.
I mean, how much of this game is mental? You know, how much of it is the swagger and the confidence? And do you get more of that or less of that now with the new coach? Or is it kind of the same?
I think first of all, this game is extremely mental, especially in the NBA. No one gets to the NBA on accident. No one gets to the NBA and cannot play. And there's a lot of guys who can play in the NBA but don't have the same opportunity, but have the skills to be in the NBA. But in terms of mentally and confidence, you know, I think the important thing for me is to be confident in the team and the system and the guys I'm on the floor with. I think that's huge, to be able to trust that I can do this and have my teammate cover my back. And so that's something that we've built, and we've learned to trust each other. And you know, that's funny to me because people don't realize when we won those 7 games, and you know, everyone wanted to talk about Linsanity. The thing that people didn't realize is we were the #1 defensive team in the NBA at that during that 7-game stretch, and you know, that goes so far beyond one person. That goes all the way down the line to, you know, everyone that comes into the game, and so that's really why we won, was our defense, and obviously with, you know, guys like Shump playing defense, and you know, Novak too, and people. Novak doesn't think he plays defense, but if you watch him, he's a very good defender. He doesn't always get the rebound, but his guy won't get the rebound.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, he might not be the best leaper, but he can box out. You know, and so it was.
Where does the defensive inspiration come from, though? I mean, that's what's confusing.
You see him out there pressuring the ball, you better not let your guy get the ball, because if he does his job, if he's working that hard, and you let your guy catch it right there, and you don't put pressure on him, then he's essentially wasting his energy. Mm-hmm. And so it's catching on to the energy, and like you said, the energy, the swag, the confidence of other players, and having it all elevate each other. That's really what the team is about. That's what basketball is about.
Plus, I like playing on the breakaway, so I like. You know, when the crowd get into it and we get that steal, we get on that break. Mm-hmm. That's where that's why everything goes nuts. You know, we might run it down there some might like maybe we don't get a dunk, maybe we don't get an alley-oop, but just because we ran down there, they might leave this dude wide open, and if he hit a three, the Garden rocks. So.
Yeah, that's right. You love playing in the Garden, aren't you?
Yeah, I like.
You loving the atmosphere.
Yeah. I like the stage. You know what I like? I like that the other team gets a kick out of like, oh, we in the Garden, I'm finna go for 50. No, you're not. You're really not. That's what's not gonna happen. But, people get a kick out of that though. That's why other teams are coming there and they just be pumped up, ready to go. Like you're not getting 50, man.
Well, it's the Mecca. It's the capital of basketball.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Do you find it hard? Just is it a good shooting court, by the way? Because a lot of times people say at the beginning, you come on that court, is it the sight lines and everything, no problem? It doesn't seem like you have a problem.
Yeah, no, it's been good for me so far. But, I mean, for me, I'm really a huge muscle memory guy. I like to just shoot a ton every day, so that no matter if it's dark behind the hoop or light behind the hoop or where we're playing,
doesn't matter.
It's more of a muscle memory thing.
How many shots you take in a day?
It really depends on the day, but
today.
Well, one thing I can say is he shoots every day, and it doesn't matter how many games we play. He'll be in the gym the next day, and he'll at least get up some shots. It may not be the most, but while everyone else is sleeping, he'll make sure at least to go in the gym and make sure to keep the form, like you said, the muscle memory. So
are you in hundreds of shots a day, or?
Yeah, some days 200-300, other days maybe only 50, maybe 100. So.
Is that now? You've been doing that since you're a kid? I mean, if you're a kid out there, I see a lot of kids out there. I mean, if you're 12 years old, what's your suggestion to them is?
When I was very blessed. I grew up in a basketball family. My dad was my high school coach, so I always had the keys to the gym. The school still doesn't know, but I had the code to the gym. And my dad would let me go, and he would swear. He said, "Look, if you ever get caught, you do not tell them I gave you that code." But I would go in and I would shoot. And he also happened to build my driveway when I was growing up was on a big slant, so we happened to build a half court in the backyard. So I was very lucky. And really, starting in 8th grade was when I really realized there was so many other kids that were good players. I wasn't going to be the strongest, wasn't going to be the most athletic. I had to be the best shooter if I wanted to play in the NBA. So starting in 8th grade, every single day I would make 300 jump shots every day on the half court in my backyard, and people would always say, did you shoot 300 or did you make 300? And I would make 300 every day after I came home from school.
Wow.
And that was really where it started for me, where I just loved to play. I dreamt about playing in the NBA, but I realized there were so many guys out there like Shump that were so athletic. No, seriously though, that I wasn't ever going to be able to be that athletic and that strong. So I had to do something else, and so I really put my effort towards shooting.
It's nice to see we have 3 guys. All 3 of you spent 4 years in college.
No.
You're 4 years.
Shump
how many
actually,
I left after my 3rd.
it's because he did his schoolwork too fast. No more left for him.
Why Georgia Tech though? Why?
It's funny. I was supposed to go to Marquette. I was really leaning towards going to Marquette, and I actually got a tip that Coach Crean wasn't going to be at Marquette. But it was a little weird, but I was like, I don't really want to go somewhere and somebody leave.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. And then with Coach Hewitt being at Georgia Tech, Coach Hewitt used to just like, because, all the coaches recruit you, and it's like, they're like, oh, how's your day going? How's school? How's your family? And it's like a constant routine with all the coaches. But Coach Hewitt used to be like, turn to ESPN Classic, Penny Hardaway's playing. You should watch Penny Hardaway. Or turn to, ESPN right now. Bruce Bowen is locking up right now. You really might want to watch Bruce Bowen. And he used to just change it up for me. And anybody that's like just a student of the game like that, and wants me to be a student of the game.
Are you a student of the game still?
Yeah.
Is that what makes you so good defensively?
I like, before every game, I get clips of whoever I got to guard, who their main scorers are, and just see where they're comfortable, how I'm going to make,
so you're
their
watching
life
some
terrible
film.
for the day.
Are you that guy in the huddle that says, Coach, I just want the best scorer. I want the best guy on their team. I'll take care of that. You guys take care of the rest?
They usually give me the best scorer, but
they do.
if like Dunleavy, if he starts going off, I just say I got him.
You're in the huddle.
I'm gonna make that distinction though. I don't like, because it just bothers me. It really bothers me like that.
What's your deal? Novak didn't tell him about the deal he had with Dunleavy.